Hey guys, it's me Nisi of Spoil Me Nisi, back with another video. So today I'm going to give my reaction or my 2 cents on the new Netflix original called Bridgerton. It was just released sometime this month, and I actually binge watched it yesterday, and I finished it today. If you haven't already seen the show or if you haven't already finished it, just as a disclaimer, as always, this video is going to be loaded with spoilers. So let's get into it. I really enjoyed this series. I thought it was really, really good. It definitely exceeded my expectations for the show. When I first heard about the show, I wasn't very interested in it. I saw some pictures from different scenes in the show, and my original reaction was that I thought it was going to be cheesy, honestly. But I don't know. I wanted something to get into. There aren't a whole lot of shows out right now that seem very interesting to me, so I decided to get into the show, and I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. Now, naturally, there are going to be things that I disliked about the show, just like I have things that I like about it, so I'll stick to the positive things first. The thing that I like, or things that I liked most about the show, would be Simon and Daphne. Simon and Daphne, they're so cute. As of right now, they're one of my favorite TV couples that we have in any show or any movie right now. So cute. I love what the show did with their personalities, unfolding who he is. You know, he's definitely, very manly, certainly like the alpha male kind of man. And she is definitely, she's much stronger than what people think she is, of course, but she's very ladylike. She certainly is a lady. I like the chemistry that they have together and how they get along. Definitely a refreshing couple to see on TV. Now, don't get me wrong, their relationship is toxic, certainly toxic, but all in all, I love their relationship in the show. I was really sad during the show when they were about to break up. I'm really glad they decided not to. And it was really nice to see them turn around and have kids, considering he didn't want to have kids, let alone get married. So as of right now in the show, they end up with a very happy ending, and I'm very happy to see it because I love them about the show. One thing that I really enjoyed about the show is their love scenes. Now, I'm not a person that's really into like the sex scenes in any movie or any show. I typically fast forward them because I think sex scenes are awkward. Like I don't know. I've always felt that sex scenes on a show or a movie are very awkward. But theirs were very, very hot and heavy. Yeah, I can see why the series is TV MA, because their sex scenes were kind of graphic, and certainly extremely hot and heavy. So if you're hearing about it on Twitter, people are not lying. Yeah, the love scenes there were kind of crazy. But all in all, they were definitely my favorite thing about the show and definitely kept me interested. So another thing that I liked a lot about the show is I like their world. Like this show is based off of the 1930s, and of course, none of us were alive in the 1930s. But in this show, I like how everything is very integrated. It shows black people, white people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people, pretty much coexisting in this world where they're all royals and they're all equal. And it doesn't show any racial issues in the show. There are, of course, issues in the show, but race is not one of them. And that's definitely a refreshing watch for right now, because in the current world that we're living in here in the United States, a lot of things on TV are so political. Everything is racial, political, so much of that being crammed down our throats. So it was really nice to watch a show where you see all these different people from different backgrounds who look nothing alike, coexisting, and politics and race doesn't even really get mentioned. It's vaguely mentioned when Simon speaks to his, I guess, mother figure about how, the queen marrying the king, she's black, he's white, changed things for their people. He doesn't feel they changed, but she does, but that's the only time where anything race related is brought up. So I like that. I do like how, this show is based off of a time that took place, over 100 years ago, like 2 centuries ago. But it touches on issues that are prevalent in 2020. It touches on LGBTQ, with the Bridgerton boy, I forget his name, his friend who's the artist. Come to find out, while he is married to a woman, he's gay, and he's in love with with a man. He also loves his wife, but he's with her for convenience and to hide the fact that he's gay. I like that they touched bases with that, because it does kind of shed light on things, how people that are a part of that community, it does shed light on like how they see the world. So I thought that was interesting, how he felt like he needed to hide that. He didn't want to face the scrutiny that comes with him being a gay man. So I do think it was, considering this show is out in 2020, I get why they put that in the show. And I thought that was pretty cool, especially for an audience that could relate, individuals watching that could relate to him. I'm sure that'd be nice for them to see that in the show. So I did like that. Another thing that I liked is that they touched on mental illness. The queen, her husband, he's sick. They don't tell you what his sickness is, but there is a scene with the king and queen where he comes out and says that he is, he's seeing things. He saw his daughter, and his daughter passed away. And then, he feels like the daughter is alive, but the queen says that she's dead. And when she tells him that, he freaks out and goes, oh, you killed my daughter. Now, of course, we don't know the true story there. In my opinion, the queen is a little creepy. She's weird. Who knows what happened with the daughter? They don't really get into that part of the story. But obviously, if the daughter has passed away and he's seeing her, maybe mentally he's having a hard time dealing with whatever could have happened to his child. So I do like how the show sheds light on that. It also sheds light on drug use. The queen seems reserved and well put together, no matter how petty she is. But she is on drugs. She sniffs something that she calls snuff. I'm assuming it's some sort of cocaine, but it's red. I don't know much about drugs, but I know in movies, whenever people sniff stuff off their nose, it's cocaine. So I'm assuming that maybe they just call it snuff and it is cocaine. Who knows? But the queen, she's on it. So I do think that it's awesome that they, showed that in the show. Not to sound ignorant, but I didn't know that people back then, like the royals and stuff, did stuff like that, because they seem like so regal and stuff. So, it's interesting to see that in the show as well. What else did I like about the show? I like that the show, while I feel that it was very, you kind of knew where they were going with things. But in the end, it ended in a way that I did not see coming, so I did like the suspense of it all. And I did like how they kept the show action packed, and that all of the episodes were about an hour long, because it was a lot of information to put into it. So those are just some of the things that I really enjoyed about the show. Now, some things that I didn't like about the show, I didn't like that it only had 8 episodes. It's an amazing show, and I do feel like it should have had at least 10 or maybe 12 episodes, maybe, if they wanted to keep an even number. I do wish that it had more episodes. I didn't like that at the end we find out that Lady Whistledown is Penelope. That was weird. Something about that didn't really sit right with me. Yeah, Penelope, you don't really see it coming, and I guess that was like a suspense factor. They wanted to make Miss Lady Whistledown someone that no one saw coming. But in the end, having it be Penelope, the way it came out and it being her, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm just kind of not buying it. I didn't really like it. It was just, I don't know, it was just a little weird. But I can't wait to see what they do with it. So there wasn't really much that I disliked about the show. All in all, I liked it a whole lot. Because of the ending, I'm willing to bet money. Well, no, I'm not betting money on it. But I'm willing to say that I'm pretty certain they're going to have a second season. Just because of how it ended. It was a few cliffhangers on things. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a second season of the show. So here are some things that I would like to see in the second season. I definitely want to see more of Simon and Daphne, because I love them. I want to see more of Simon as a dad. He didn't want to be a husband, let alone a father. So now that he becomes a dad at the end of the show, I hope that in the next season they show him more so coming into that role, softening up, because he's a little bit harsh, and he definitely has a hard exterior, and Daphne had a hard time breaking that. He had a hard time letting her in. But by the last episode, he really did let her in, and it really is nice to see their love really unfold there. But I want to see like more of it in the next season of the show. I also want to see more of Daphne taking on that royalty role. The role of the Duchess definitely is for Daphne. She's a royal in nature. And I certainly want to see more of her in that role. In this season, you see her reaching out to, the people more so than you see him reaching out to them. And he's the actual Duke. So it almost, in a sense, at least I got the vibe, that she's trying to take on that role of a royal more so than he is. He could care less because of the abusive relationship he had with his dad. But she's really taken on that role. So I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Miss Thompson. I think Marina left on a cliffhanger. Yes, she did kind of have a happy ending because now she'll have a father for her kid and she'll be married, giving her protection and money so she won't be on the street, So I think that was really nice how that ended for her, but that's really not how she wanted her story to end. She was a little annoying in the show. But I think there's so much potential with Marina's character. So I really hope that even though she left to be with that guy, Charles's brother, I really hope they bring her back in the next season, or at least shed a little bit more light on her story. Part of me hopes that somehow she and Colin kind of, swoop back together, because Colin really did have deep feelings for her. And I believe that she had some for him, even though he was a come up. I'm hoping that somehow they incorporate, her back into the show and they allow her and Colin to cross paths with each other, because I think there's a lot of unfinished business there with those two. Another thing that I want to see in the next season of the show, I want to see more of Eloise. Me personally, I think Eloise is a lesbian. They didn't reveal that this season. But I think it's pretty obvious because she doesn't seem very interested in men, let alone getting married. And she seems a little bit more comfortable around around women than what she is around men. So I don't know. Not saying that I want them to make her a lesbian in the next season of the show, but I want them to uncover more of her character, because even though, yes, Eloise is a main character of this season, there are a lot of unanswered questions about her character as a whole and about her story. And I definitely want to see more of that. The last thing that I really want to see in the next season is Penelope coming into her role now that we know that she has like an alter ego going on. Penelope, I started out this season, excuse my phone. I started out this season like really liking Penelope. She seemed like the nice, sweet young girl who just, maybe had a little self-esteem issues, because of the pressures that her mom put on her and her sisters, and the pressures that the world put on her and her sisters. She kind of didn't fall, in line with that, and she was struggling with that. However, at the same time, she has a full-blown alter ego. Well, she's like the Wendy Williams of their world. She just outs people. She's just messy and just steers the pot. And I just really didn't see that coming with Penelope's character. I actually ended off the show like really disliking her. So I'm hoping that the next season of the show, they really uncover her character and really have her to blossom, I guess. I wonder if maybe they'll turn it around and make the viewers like her. So that's it. That's all I really have to say about this show. If you haven't already gotten into, I recommend it. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, and share. And until next time, peace.